Hey there, welcome back. Week number 2. We're talking about the high performance habits, ladies and gentlemen. So excited, and I just very honoring that you're here with me yet again one more time. Very, very powerful stuff, very powerful information. This can really start to make a shift in your life in every area of it. So before anything else, I acknowledge you for being here. I acknowledge you for taking the commitment and making the choice to be here. That for me means a lot, and I'm fully committed to bring you value. Here, I'm standing right here with this for you, so that you leave this conversation with something, so you can use it in your life, you can implement it today, and you can start making actions and start making progress towards what you're out to create in life. And some things you may not even know yet. So, welcome back. Very excited. Now, the very nature of this conversation, habits, high performance habits, by the very nature of habits, this is something that's going to take will. It's going to take a conscious choice. It's going to take a level of intentionality that you may not have been bringing into your life just yet. This isn't one of those things that happens accidentally. You practice once and you're good. No, this is the kind of actions that consistently taken over time makes the difference. And this is what sets some people apart. And this is where we want to get to, where we can be the ones setting ourselves apart. Now, that doesn't happen by accident. No, it happens by complete choice. You need to will it. So, just with that in mind, I honor, and again, this is great. This is going to take discipline. It's going to take a lot of effort. But here we are. If not now, then when? And if not you, then who? Why not? Why not take the step into that big next level for yourself in your life? Now, let me ask you this. Do you feel like you've just been going through the motions? Maybe that spark that you had a couple of years ago isn't there anymore. Maybe the excitement that you felt walking through the office a couple of years back isn't there. You know, everything may be good. You may be getting paid well. You may be having a good life at home, but there's something missing. You can tell that there's something that's just not fitting, right? So why could that be happening? And we see that a lot. We hear a lot of people that are always working, but there's something that they're just not finding success. They're not really finding fulfillment. They're just, again, going through the motions. So with this experience now of being there, because I'm sure we've all been there, and if you haven't been there, God bless. Let's hope you never get there. Being there and understanding what that feels like, we can now start to say, okay, why is it that some people never experience this burnout? And why is it that when some people do experience the burnout, they're able to get out of it? Now, it all comes down to this high performance habit number 1, and it's high performance of seeking clarity. Now, this seeking clarity is it's literally the one thing that if you can start honing in on right now, you can start to see things shift in your life. Now, let's talk about basics first. Let's talk about basics. The basics of seeking clarity is very simple. Now, seeking clarity, you don't have clarity. You don't have emotions. You generate them. Things happen in your life and you generate them. The best example to talk about this is the generator. A power plant. A power plant doesn't just have energy inside it, it generates it. We as humans do the same exact thing. A lot of times we do it unconsciously. So if we can now start to take that on and really start to see ourselves as generators of energy, we can start to look at clarity in the same manner as a generator of clarity. We don't just have it, we generate it over time. Now, the way that we generate clarity over time, 2 ways. We are asking ourselves questions consistently, and 2, we're always taking a step back and we're reflecting. We're assessing what we learned. We're assessing the lesson. Something that tomorrow we won't do again because we learned today that didn't work. Right? So as we start to develop clarity consistently over time, we want to start looking at a couple different things. Let's talk about basics first. Basics. Do you know who you are? Do you know what you want? 1 and 2. Do you know who you are and do you know what you want? Now, who you are is very simple. That's a big question, but let's look at who you are in 3 ways. Do you know what you value? Do you know what's meaningful to you? Do you know what your strengths and what your weaknesses are? Are you self-aware to know that I won't go in that direction because I don't like that kind of work? Are you self-aware to know you value this, so you'll go into this, but you don't value that, so you won't go into that? Do you know who you are in those terms? And two, do you know what you want? This is the basic thing. Do you know what you want? Because if you don't know what you want, then everything around you just looks attractive. But do you know what you want? You as an individual, do you know what you want? What gets your heart pumping? When you can start to become aware of those things, you can start developing, you can start to generate the clarity for yourself. And right now, look, if you don't know who you are, what you value, what your strengths, what your weaknesses, that level of self-awareness, that's not there yet, it's okay. Take a step back. Just take out a journal. I highly recommend a journal. Take out a journal and start writing, who am I? And just let your hand go. Don't even think too much about it. You'll be surprised at how much you already know about yourself. You just haven't thought about it. You'll be surprised at the things that come up that you've never consciously seen. If you don't know what you want, do the same exact thing. Put down, what do I want? And you write, I want, and let your hand go. Let it just evolve on itself. This level of self-awareness, of reflection, of self-actualization is what starts to develop that clarity, right? So that's the basics of clarity. Now, this isn't just about basics. This is about how can we start taking this level of success, because, you know, that who are you and what do you want? That's initial success, right? But if we want sustained and heightened success, we got to take it to the next level. And this is where the conversation really gets deep and it gets powerful. So we want to start looking at 4 key areas of life. And let's see how we can start developing clarity in these 4 key areas of life. Number 1, self. As in yourself. Now, high performers, after going through all the interviews and doing all of the studies, what was shown was that high performers are consistently asking themselves who they are. What matters to them? What do they find meaningful? How are they going to interact on a day-to-day basis with themselves? They're known that before they wake up and actually get out of bed, they're already designing in their mind who they're going to be that day. They're already creating themselves in that particular manner. And look, when we can start to look at all of this experience as the level of intentionality, then you're no longer up to the circumstances of life. You are generating yourself as such. High performers around the world are known that they know themselves and they question themselves consistently, not to create doubt, but to create clarity. What do I value? What do I find meaningful? What is important to me? Questions like that. And in the homework, you'll see some. But area number 1, self. Clarity in self. Developing that clarity in oneself, in yourself. Area number 2, social. Right? Now, we want to start to look at social. The interactions that we have. Simple enough. High performers are known, and they've told that before they walk into a meeting, before they walk into work, before they walk into their homes, they are choosing, they're taking some time, they're relaxing, they're releasing, and they're choosing who they're going to be in those interactions. They're not letting the interactions around them guide the way they feel. They are choosing how they're going to generate themselves in a level of feeling, and then they go have those interactions. And you may have noticed this. You may have noticed some people that, that are always somehow they look like they're always happy. They're always there's just this air to them. It's because they're not allowing their circumstances of life to dictate what they feel. They're not the plank in the ocean, the plank of wood in the ocean. It's not just floating and drifting and letting the waves kind of take wherever. No. You now, as a high performer, developing this level of high performance, you want to start to really generate yourself the way that you feel, the emotions with yourself and with the people around you. We are creatures of society. We crave that connection, interconnection with other human beings. Get intentional with who you're going to be with them. Number 3, key, clarity in your skills. Are you conscious and do you know what skills you are developing next? And look, this is where we start to really think about right now, what do I want? What are the goals that I'm out to accomplish? Without those basics in play, these things like skills, it's just too much to handle right now. So if right now you don't know what skills because you don't know what you want, that's okay. This will be here. Thank you, internet land. Develop what you want. Have clarity about what you want. Once that clarity about what you want is there, okay, what are the skills? What are the skills you want to do? Look, I'll give you an example. You can use me as an example. So my future vision, where I see myself, is to be doing this kind of work that I'm doing right now on a big scale. Stages, big people, a lot of audiences. Now, in order for me to get to that stage, I need to be able to speak efficiently. I need to be able to convey a message in a way that you understand what I'm saying. I need to be able to learn how to film a video properly, edit it. I need to be able to how to create some curriculum. I need to be able to learn how to public speak to big audiences because there's a difference. Now, if I didn't have that level of clarity as to what I want clear, the skills that I need to develop right now would never be there. So, what are the skills that as you're moving forward and you're pulling yourself towards this specific goal and this specific vision that you want, what are the skills you need to develop? I mean, you can start to get deep into them, right? If you want to get more creative, okay, get specific. How do you want to be more creative? Do you want to draw? And if you want to draw, what kind of drawings do you want to do? Do you want to do landscapes? Do you want to do portraits? Do you want to do architecture? Okay, you want to do landscapes. Okay, what kind of canvas do you want to paint on? You got to understand the different textures. What kind of colors are you going to use? Are you going to use pencil? Are you going to use charcoal? Are you going to use paint? You got to get specific, and then you start to really develop the clarity as to what is the next step. Skills. 4, service. Service. This one fires me up because when it comes to service, this is the thing that we all humans, we all want to be of service. You go ask anybody in the world, a stranger, what is one thing they want to do before they die? They say they want to impact people. They want to leave this world a better place than when they first found it. Would you agree? Service is something that is natural. This is one of those things that we always have in the back of our mind. It may not be conscious, but it's in the back of our mind. Now, high performers are consistently thinking, how can they be of service? What are their charities that they're going to donate their time to, their resources, support? What service can they offer to the people in their life, whether it's their community at large or whether it's their community at home? How are they going to create this level of service for another human being? So when you can really start to develop those 4 key areas of life, again, self, social, skills, and service, you can start to now move in the direction of that. First, the basics. Remember, the basics. Who are you and what do you want? And when it comes to clarity, just give yourself the grace. It's gonna take time. You may have never done this before. And if you've never done this before, these questions to follow in the homework may be a bit much right now. Give yourself the time, trust the process, do the work. If you're not developing the clarity for yourself right now, if you're not taking the time, that's okay. But don't burn out. Don't find yourself in a position where you're just going through the motions, the spark of life is gone, and you are no longer connected to the people in your life. Because that's what happens. You lose the spark at work because there's no longer something pulling you forward. Well, guess what? Your relationship at home is also gonna take a hit. Your relationship with your friends is also gonna take a hit. Your relationship with yourself, your health, the way you think to yourself is also going to be affected by this lack of clarity. Let me finish with this. High performers with this generation of clarity, they're very aware of who they are right now. They know who they are and what they want. They know how they want to come for themselves, for the society around them, for the service and the skills that they want to develop today. And most importantly, that vision pulling them forward, they know who they're going to be in the next year, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, and beyond. Whenever high performers were interviewed, they consistently kept bringing up legacy. And when we can start to have those big picture thinking, we now start to get clear on, if I do this today, that legacy that I'm looking to leave in a couple of years may not be there. So then there's no longer a guessing game. You know, if I take this action today and my end vision is this, then it's congruent with what I'm about to create. When there's congruency, that's just a synonym for clarity. There's alignment. Things start to really come together. But it starts with clarity. So, thank you for being here. Do the homework. Follow this. Continue with this consistently. Do whatever you need right now. Do whatever you need to remind yourself of these questions. I would print these out, or I would copy them in a notebook, and then the answers, I would even put them in my phone. And then take it the next step. Put them down as alarms. Remind yourself. Who are you? What do you want? What do you value? What are you trying to accomplish? What skill set do you need to develop? Who are you going to service? If you can start to develop that clarity for yourself consistently, there's no ceiling. There's no limit. You can really go wherever you choose to. Now, next week is going to be powerful. You're going to see they build on each other, and they also work independently. Next week, we're going to start to talk about energy and how do you just increase that level of energy for yourself. How is it that some people are consistently focused and on task, while some people halfway through the day are already coffeeed out? They've had too much, they're shaking, they can't focus, they're energized, but they can't do anything. So what is it that brings high performers to consistently have energy and have that level of clarity of mind where they can consistently be doing things full of vibrancy, full of focus and presence? Thank you for being here. Check out the homework. Do the homework. I am so excited. And let me know what you think. Let me know what you're going through. Let me know if you have any struggles. Let me know if you have any questions. Look, I'm here because this is what I love to do. This is my passion. And I am honored that you're here with me today because you're giving me room to fulfill my mission. And I thank you for that. So let me be of service to you. If you have any questions, if you need some clarifications, if you want to go deeper, let's go deeper. Shoot me an email back. Shoot me a text if you have my number. Thank you for being here.